Hi, I'm Dr. Lisa Anderson and this is my show, Clouds and Roses, here in Sydney at David Rex Livingstone's gallery in Flinders Street. And I was going to talk about some of the work. These pieces along this wall, as you can tell, are split images. All of the works in the show play with the idea of weather and certain elements of weather. So I've put together a range of images, sometimes split like this, so that the link of the weather for me as my stepping off point is fairly important. This is weather where people don't belong. So on this side you have, this is the wallpaper in a deserted, probably deserted in the 1930s, fur trader or Arctic trader's hut in the high Arctic. And it's wallpaper. In some of the images you can see polar bear cuts. When I went there to look at the works, or take the photographs, I had someone armed at the front and at the back of the little cottage. There's a length of time I could be there because polar bears are fairly active, and so you need to have special permissions to be in these kind of places. Everything's heritage. And these, of course, are the Elgin marbles, which the Greeks have been trying to get back ever since the truck rundled away in the middle of the night with them. And they're in the British Museum. Every time you walk in and look at them, there is some English person saying, the Greeks would never have looked after them, they would have left them out in the weather. They're English now, they're part of our heritage, they're not Greek anymore. It's an interesting kind of proposal, but they're both about things that are in the wrong place. People who threw weather, the weathering away and a weather link in the story are in the wrong place. So these images are linking the high Arctic to the Elgin marbles as stories of kind of imperialism and weather-related stories. Now, moving on, these images here are of an area called Lake Mungo in western New South Wales, and there is one split image in these that we've just been through. But these works play with this area here, which is called, it's a lunette in Lake Mungo. The lake dried out 15 to 20,000 years ago. It's the site of the oldest cremations in Australia, or well, in the world actually, of ritual cremations. And here are a little drawing of Chinese clouds that are the clouds of abundance. They bring good fortune, will, sexuality, all sorts of things they mean. They're a positive, powerful female influence, they're considered by legend. So, and this is also, the lunette's nickname was the Walls of China, because there were Chinese shearers and Chinese stockmen there who, in the distance, when you look at it, does actually look like the shimmering walls of Great Wall of China. I know it well. And here again is the cloud. This is a storm piece happening in Lake Mungo. Fairly unusual microclimate. Again, storms wandering through here. So in these works here, again, these are residencies I've undertaken around the world to look at weather. The Channel Islands, and which is pirate territory because it was the best hideout spot from the storms in the Bay of Biscay. And here, this is Bordeaux, which is, it was a major port, but the river silted up with clay. And if you go up it to the main town of Bordeaux, you risk being stuck on the bottom, literally, in the clay. So it's this thing that once this was so grand and not from the river anymore, the river's changed. And here, Lake Mungo, this is a shearer's shed that was built by the Chinese shearers, built with no nails. And here is Saint-Tropez, which is a seaman's cemetery, and the Chinese cloud above it. So it's again linking things that don't belong, but weather patterns. And this is a Lake Mungo work playing with the idea, in the night when you walk around, it's an imaginary walk on the moon kind of experience. So I've been trying to work with that. I often put circles into my work to kind of bring together an idea of global understanding. So it's a literal circling things and linking places in China, in the disappearing hutongs, the furniture, the lights, the things that are disappearing with the clouds. And this is Ned Kelly's death mask when it was visiting Glenrowan, and the Arctic here, and this is a piece in China. This tree work here is in China. Ned Kelly, his father, he was in Australia because his father was a political activist in Ireland and was consequently shipped to Australia. So Ned Kelly became a very active, thoughtful person about politics because of that. Now it's worthwhile noting though that his father was in the Irish famine, so he was part of that diaspora, and it was the famine that was caused by weather that rotted the potatoes. So the whole reason the Kellys were even here to become the most famous bandits, I guess, bushrangers, was to do with the politics of weather.
Beautiful.